Hey, what's up, guys? Today I am not going to be singing. I know, shocker. Today I decided I would do a different kind of video and talk to you guys about my transition. And if you are not in the loop, I am transgender. And if you've been following for a while, you'll notice that I have changed my name on YouTube. I've changed my name not only on my channel, but also on any of the videos that I had posted of my original songs or anything that mentioned my name. I changed my name. So I wanted to talk to you guys about my transition journey that I've had so far. I also want to talk about what I plan to do in the future and any changes that I expect to happen with testosterone and that sort of thing. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is how this all started. I came to terms with the fact that I am trans when I was 17 years old. And that's when I first came out to a couple friends, and they were honestly really accepting, and I was a little bit surprised, but also at the same time not. I had a very open-minded high school, the 1 year that I went to public school, and my first experience with a transgender person in real life was actually at that high school. And we had a couple trans students. At first, seeing them was actually not helpful for coming to terms with being trans, and it's not that I didn't like them, because I absolutely loved them, but the reactions from certain people in my life to those transgender students was not the most welcoming. And so I kind of put off coming out even to myself for a while. And it wasn't until after I was out of school that I kind of came to terms with it. And then, I joined the Air Force. So I didn't really want to come out publicly because, if you've been following any sort of political news, you will know that there was a transgender ban. Um, Luckily, I made it before that cutoff of which people would be kicked out for being transgender. But that being said, I'm getting out of the military anyway, so it didn't really make much of a difference. But I am not being kicked out for being transgender, which is good. But because I joined the Air Force, starting my medical transition was such a pain in the ass. I first came out to a medical provider in the military and got a official diagnosis of gender dysphoria in December of 2018. So after I came out, I started looking into medically transitioning and how I would go about it with the military. And I found out that I needed to have commander approval in order to start any hormones or have any surgeries or anything like that. And so I waited until I was in Nebraska. After about 3 months of being here, I went to the mental health clinic for the base, and I started talking to them about starting my transition and trying to get that rolling. And that was in May of 2019. And then in December of 2019, I actually got to go on a medical TDY to talk to the medical team in charge of transitioning service members. And it was really cool to go there, and it was a great experience. And basically, they sent me home with everything that I needed to request permission to transition. Ideally, within a month of coming back from MMDT, I would be able to start my transition. However, that did not happen. And eventually, I started testosterone, which means I am now 6.5 months on testosterone. And that has been my journey so far. And next thing I want to talk about is the changes that I've experienced so far with testosterone. So I've obviously had some physical changes to include my voice dropping, which is the most noticeable one so far. I have had a little bit of a metabolism boost. I have had an increase of body hair, just generally, and also on my face. I haven't gotten actual facial hair yet, so I've had a big patch of baby hairs just all underneath my chin, on my lip, and kind of like sideburns just going all the way down to my jaw. It's still not legitimate facial hair yet, but I cannot wait to have a frickin' full beard. I will go full as Viking if I am able to. I've also had an increase in acne like I have never seen before. Previously, I have only ever experienced like just typical acne. I had never experienced cystic acne before, but I have started to experience that with testosterone, which sucks because I don't know how to deal with cystic acne. I mean, not just on my face, but also a lot on my shoulders, which I've seen is kind of a commonplace for other trans guys or other people who are going on testosterone. Another change that I've had is hot flashes. I get super hot like all the time. I will wake up in the middle of the night just freaking sweating my butt off, and it's like 15 degrees outside. I crack my window open and I'm still freaking sweating because testosterone makes you physically hotter, and I think that has something to do with my metabolism increasing. I could be wrong about that. If anyone has information on that, if I'm wrong about that, you can correct me in the comments. I don't mind. So those are all of the physical changes that I've noticed, at least that I can think of right now. I've also had some emotional changes. So I'm currently editing the video, so my audio is going to be a little bit weird, but I realized I worded something pretty poorly in the video, and I just wanted to completely redo that section real quick. So mental health when it comes to transitioning is super, super important to talk about, and it's not usually the most talked about thing when it comes to transitioning, because mental health tends to be used as a weapon against trans people to invalidate them, especially if you're not surrounded by very supportive people. The mental health impacts that I've had has been anger issues. It's been more difficult to cry, which I didn't think was going to be much of an issue because I didn't cry much before I started testosterone anyway, but in those few situations where I would cry, it's become almost impossible. So it's been a little bit of a struggle, but I surrounded myself with people who are understanding and some who are going through the same thing. And it's been super helpful to not only have these people who understand, but also be able to talk about it. So yeah, mental health is really important. Back to video with good audio. I know I have been saying things suck, but don't get me wrong, I am so happy with the changes that I've had so far, and I am super excited to see what changes are to come. On a little bit of a lighter note than that, there are a lot of changes that I still expect to happen, and some things that I am going to do other than hormones, and that's what I want to talk about now. Changes that I expect to come: more muscle mass increase, hopefully noticeable muscle mass increase, increased metabolism even more, which leads to more energy, and I expect more body hair, including facial hair. And those are kind of the changes that I'm expecting to see within the next 6 months or so. I don't expect to have a beard 6 months from now, but I do expect actual facial hair to at least start coming in instead of just baby hairs. Outside of testosterone hormone replacement therapy, I also am planning on having a couple surgeries. I'm planning on having top surgery, which is just a For female to male top surgery, it is essentially a double mastectomy, but it's a little bit different because it's not just taking out all the fat, it's actually leaving some fat for contouring, so it's more of a plastic surgery kind of thing because they do want it to look, they want to make your chest look like a AMAB chest. And if you don't know what AMAB is, that just stands for assigned male at birth. I am also planning on having a full hysterectomy, which I guess is called an oophorectomy, and then eventually have a phalloplasty. I could make an entire video just explaining what phalloplasty is and how it works and all that sort of stuff. If you guys do want more trans related videos where I just talk about it, freaking tell me. Just comment. You can hit me up on my social media, which is linked in the description. So that is everything so far with my transition and what I expect to do in the future, and I will keep you guys updated. And I'm gonna go ahead and end this video with my voice progression so far because I think it's pretty cool. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
My name is Thomas Alexander Reed, and this is my voice. 1 day, 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 5 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, 11 weeks, 12 weeks, 3 months, 17 weeks, 19 weeks, 5 months, 6 months, 1 testosterone.